Greetings, fellow songwriters and seekers, and welcome back to Muse and Measure. Please take a moment, hit that subscribe button down below. All right, today I want to dive deeper into songwriting and look at writing poetic lyrics. Now, what do we mean by poetic lyrics? Well, as opposed to prose, which is more of a means to an end, you're trying to communicate something, and really good prose is what they call transparent, meaning that you're not aware that you're reading prose if it's really good while you're reading it. If you're reading a great novel, you're not focused on the language and the way the words are on the page. You are getting those words, but they are a way of communicating a mental movie in your brain. They're kind of dictating to your brain what images need to pop up and when, and what emotions need to be going on. And so when you're reading a really great novel, you forget that you're reading and you just go into this movie state, like you're sitting in a movie theater. Poetry is not like that. It draws attention to itself. It draws attention to the language. You are always aware that you're reading poetry because of its rhythms, how it's shaped on the page, its rhyme scheme. It draws attention to itself. So you really get to feel the materiality of language and get to see how language works and to experience words, as sounds. And the incredible miracle that is that we have that we've somehow developed that ability to make these strange noises with our mouth that then you can hear and understand what I'm talking about. But even more than that, if I express myself in the right way, you can experience things that you've never experienced in a way that you've never experienced them. Especially psychological and emotional states that I'm going through, I can express to you through metaphors and similes and through the five senses, whereas I couldn't explain that just by telling you I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling lonely, I'm so deeply in love that it hurts. Okay, so that's kind of a prosaic way of saying, or even just saying she left, right? Well, somebody leaving, okay, that's one thing. Yeah, they literally left, but what did it feel like? What does that mean that she left? What's the emotionality of it, right? So that's where poetry comes in, and that's where using this kind of very intense language and language that draws attention to itself really comes in handy. For me, your lyrics should be like poems. They should work even without the music, because the music provides the emotional context for your words, and it really backs it up. If the songwriting is good, the words and the music are working in tandem to create this incredible experience. But that doesn't mean you can just let the music do all the work. You have to also provide poetic imagery in your lyrics to really express what you're trying to get across through your song. Okay, so some advice for writing poetic lyrics. As much as possible, use the five senses. Why? Because we experience the world through our five senses. And so using things we see, smells, which is a very powerful tool. And smells are something that are pretty abstract. We have trouble kind of, codifying them in a way, unless we're directly smelling them. It's hard for us to remember smells as opposed to something that we see with our eyes. So if you can incorporate a smell in your lyrics, it's a really powerful tool. Taste is also a powerful one because it's not used very much, and there's no kind of habitual way of relating to smells and tastes the way that there are through kind of hearing and vision. Of course, hearing things, touching things, these are all really useful ways of expressing emotions and really painting a picture for our listener through the lyrics. You want to show, not tell. So what does that mean? Okay, so I can easily say, that I was waiting around for this girl that I am in love with, and I'm not sure if she's going to come back. So that's me telling you. Okay, but if I put it into poetic words, then I'm going to use the senses. I'm going to use imagery. In a way that I'm showing you, meaning that you can picture it in your mind, or experiencing it through some kind of senses in your mind. as opposed to just this conceptual thing that I'm providing you. This girl left that I like, and I'm not worried she's not going to come back. But the dust is starting to settle, and the fool burned a hole through the kettle. And I can no longer smell your perfume. Okay, so there's an example. It's a song that I finished a while ago called It's Been So Long Since Yesterday. Okay, so instead of just saying in a kind of just a communicating way, oh, this girl that I dated and I really have strong feelings for, she's gone and I'm not sure when she's coming back. So the dust is starting to settle, which means that like it feels like time is really going by and a lot has happened. It seems like a really, really long time. Well, the title of the song is It's Been So Long Since Yesterday, so that's kind of the joke of it, is that it's been less than 24 hours since this person has seen this person, but the feeling is that it's been for an eternity, right? Because when you're deeply in love with somebody, being away from them is just, even for a short amount of time, is just agony, right? So the dust is starting to settle. So that's a visual image. The fool burnt a hole in the kettle, okay? So the fool is me as I'm waiting around for this person to return, and it points to how the protagonist in this story is not paying attention, that they might have a tea kettle on the stove, but even though it's whistling very loud, the world is screaming at him for the attention and to, take care of the minutiae of the day. This person is oblivious, and they burned a hole through their kettle, right? It also alludes to, the fact that they may be, having tea with somebody. So this person, when they come back. And then, I can no longer smell your perfume. Okay, that's the smell, right? So instead of just saying, oh, my girlfriend or this girl I met, left and I'm really sad, you show it through these images. Now, when I say images, there are also other senses, right? Through these smells, through these tastes, things like that. So that's what I mean by poetic words. So it's a good exercise to go through your song lyrics and kind of look at each line. Did I show or did I tell in this line? Now, of course, sometimes it's okay to tell. But when you can, you want to show. You want to replace what you have with some kind of sensory experience. And hopefully one that is haunting and really kind of drives home the emotion that you're trying to express. Okay? So if you're happy somebody's gone, obviously you're not going to talk about dust settling or fools burning holes in things, these kind of negative connotations, not being able to smell this faint thing anymore. You're going to be dealing with happy things, right? So the light all of a sudden is brighter in the room. There's a breath of fresh air that blows through the room. This would be a way of changing those into happy imagery. Okay? All right, well, I think that's enough for now. In my next episode, I'll be looking at how to use poetic rhyme schemes and rhythms. But until then, best of luck with honing your lyrics so that they have the most poetic impact and really provide a kind of sensory experience for your listener.